What's up, you third-rate duelist? This is Sean over at Sean TCG, coming to you with a brief overview of Maliss coming into the Blazing Dominion format. I think Maliss is being pretty heavily slept on as a Tier 1 or Tier 2 deck. I watch a lot of those ranking videos, and even though you can't take them terribly seriously, a lot of talented players are starting to form their opinions of what the best and worst decks of the format will be. Kewl Tune being a deck that most assume will be the best deck in the format. It's definitely giving yummy vibes in terms of the expectation that it will just likely be a deck that a lot of people play, a lot of people pilot to success. We're probably going to see a lot of success with it at the regional NYCS level. It's a highly disruptive deck. It can play on your turn. It doesn't really care about hand traps because its monsters and its effects allow the deck to kind of dip and dodge and wreak a lot of havoc that way, similar to Yummy. So something that caught my eye when I was thinking about Maliss coming into this format is that TCG Player just posted an article about the best advanced decks in the format. Maliss didn't make an appearance, which I think is for the best. My feelings aren't hurt when someone has a negative opinion of Maliss or doesn't have an opinion on Maliss. I know it's a very kind of polarizing deck within the community. You got folks who want to see the cards banned. You got folks who want to never see another Cybers card or another Link card printed again. I think this works in our favor for those of you who are listening and are Maliss players or interested in picking up the deck. When the Yu-Gi-Oh community is not focused on Maliss is when it's usually most successful, because when the community is focused on Maliss is when we see Artifact Lancia in everyone's side deck and things like that. That basically just effects and cards that shut the deck down. I don't want to see Artifact Lancia in everyone's side deck. I don't want to see Meowls growing in popularity. So it's perfectly fine if Yu-Gi-Oh content creators and sort of the culture pushers of Yu-Gi-Oh want to leave Maliss alone. I was very impressed with Maliss's performance at the Austrian National Championships. You can watch a lot of those matches on YouTube. A lot of good content creators are reposting those matches and adding commentary. I watched a lot of Renee's matches. I don't have access to their deck list, but very, very impressed. I watched them play, I forget if it was round 7 or round 8, but they had a match in which they had like a 30-minute game 2 that they just grinded out. And I think that's really my favorite thing about Maliss is its recursion, its grind game. It's not really a combo deck anymore with White Binder gone. It's just a kind of a thoughtful mid-range deck. It can go first, it can go second. It's more powerful going first, but it does have the ability to go second and FTK and disrupt an opponent's set board. It is still a sensitive deck at times, right? These different choke points like Lizardos, and there are just some awkward opening hands that can kind of keep you from full comboing. But I was really happy to see the performance of the deck in this setting. 3 of the top 8 performers at this championship level. One of the top 8 team members, their deck list is available. Pretty standard stuff. Something that jumps out at me, 3 Ghost Bell in the main deck. I do think Ghost Bell is going to be a very, very valuable card in the Blazing Dominion format. There are a lot of decks doing graveyard shenanigans, whether it's holdovers like Draco Tail, Yummy, as well as newer decks like Kewl Tune, having cards that stop graveyard shenanigans is going to probably be at a premium. I expect the imperms, for those who are not playing on a budget or who are just interested in experimenting, will probably replace their imperms with Dominus Spark. It's a card I'll talk about here in a second. For those of you who don't know, Dominus Spark is a new trap card in the Blazing Dominion set. During the turn in which your opponent has activated a monster effect in hand or graveyard, you can activate this card from your hand. Target a monster your opponent controls, banish it. Then if you have no traps in your graveyard, your opponent can special summon one monster from their hand. Once activated from your hand, you cannot activate the effects of earth, water, fire, or wind monsters the rest of the duel. So similar to Dominus Impulse, the Maliss deck loves this card. We play mostly dark monsters. It is very easy to give up on our hand traps and some of our other tech cards that might have a different type to have such a powerful trap card at our disposal. So like I said, I think folks, if you're on a budget, you can run Imperm. If you're looking to sort of raise the ceiling of the deck, I think Dominus Spark is a great choice to replace your Imperms, or perhaps you want to play it as a 2 of instead of 2 of your hand traps. A lot of potential there. Kewl Tune being the menace of the format. I like the deck. I have most of the cards. I'm interested in playing it at some point. But there's definitely a lot of grumbling in the community about this deck, specifically the fact that it can give you knowledge of your opponent's hand and just how sort of obnoxious it is in terms of its effects. It's not an overtly powerful deck in terms of it's going to beat you down. It can do that, but really what it's trying to do is annoy you, right? It's trying to, you look at Rotary, right? One of its effects, look at your opponent's hand, then add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Kewl Tune Q, you can excavate the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, banish one of them, place the other on top or bottom of the deck. Crackle, when it's synchro summoned, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a card till the end phase. And then, if it's sent to the graveyard as a synchro summon card, you can special summon this card and apply the effect to look at your opponent's extra deck and banish 2 cards from the extra deck until the end phase. So essentially, over the course of 2 turns, Crackle by itself will banish 3 cards from your extra deck. That's highly obnoxious. It's also highly obnoxious to have your opponent deciding what cards will remain on top or not on top of your deck. And it's really obnoxious when they're doing that while also knowing every card in your hand. So definitely want to be prepared for this. As a Maliss player, this deck is going to be everywhere. It's going to be expensive coming out of pre-sale, but as the format settles down, I think similar to Yummy, unless there's some sort of quick ban list for any of these Kewl Tune cards, I expect this deck to actually probably grow in strength, grow in popularity over time as the cards become cheaper and perhaps some of its more expensive cards are reprinted. Some of the tech choices against Kewl Tune that I think are interesting to talk about, maybe they don't fit into Maliss as a deck, but I think as a Maliss player, we have to be thinking about the synchro summon cards. We have to be thinking about Kewl Tune's kind of various angles and axes of attack. Soundproof is an interesting card. It can only be activated at the start of main phase 1, and only if you control no face-up synchro monsters. Neither player can special summon a synchro monster until your opponent's next end phase. This card went from a bulk rare to a $10, $11 card. Discord is the trap sort of compatriot of Soundproof. Discord says neither player can synchro summon. It's a continuous trap card that after the 3rd end phase of its activation, it's sent to the graveyard. So again, we've got spell cards and trap cards. The whole goal of these cards is to just prevent your opponent from synchro summoning. A card I'm interested in as a kind of from a budget standpoint is Stygian Dirge. This card reduces the level of all monsters your opponent controls by 1. This was very impactful against Ryzeal for some players. I believe it's currently a 3 of. There's no limitation to it, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a card like this start appearing in the side deck of Maliss players and other players. And then obviously kind of the tech choice of the format that everyone's talking about is Super Poly. I like Super Poly as a Maliss player. When I play on YGO Omega, I tend to run Super Poly, at least 2 copies in the main, a 3rd copy in the side. And I run the common generic targets in the extra deck. And the newest extra deck, member of the team, being the sea monster of Theseus, requires 2 tuners to summon, and that's it. It's just a 2200 attack zombie fusion tuner water monster. Gotta love it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video for now. Let me know what you think about Maliss and its potential in the Blazing Dominion format in the comments below. Peace.